Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we are going to be talking to you about Canyonlands National Park, the Needles section. And we have been staying in some dispersed camping less than 6 miles from the visitor center, less than 3 miles to the boundary. And we have a video about that, so if you're interested, we talk about all of the camping options in the area in that video. But this one we're going to focus on the things that we saw and did. And the first thing I want to say is just that drive.
Yes.
That scenic drive is well worth the time going down there.
But even more than the scenic drive, I think, is the road that gets you to Salt Creek and
the Cave Spring.
Yes.
Now, the map shows clearly non-paved roads that are two-wheel drive passable.
Yes.
And non-paved roads that are four-wheel drive passable.
Only. Yes.
And so we did the two-wheel drive, since that's what we have. And we did several things in this area while we were here. There's a wooden shoe overlook, which it's a little bitty arch that really looks like a wooden shoe.
Yes, it does.
It is cute. The Roadside Ruins, that was a short hike. The short hikes I did. And Roadside Ruin is 3/10 of a mile.
Round trip.
Round trip, and it was a short hike. The pothole point is on down toward the end, and once again, just driving down there is worth it. This is, you really kind of see what you're looking at when you first get there. Right. But it is a nice loop.
Yes.
And a lot of it, you're out on big rocks. And so what they have done to mark the trail is all along, you'll see a little pyramid of rocks.
Yes.
You know, standing up. And that's kind of how you keep.
And they do ask that people not build their own little pyramids because it could really confuse hikers.
Or knock those down. Granted, that was, once again, that was, the pothole was 6/10 of a mile round trip. But it was really nice, and once again, some nice overlooks. Yes. And it's down toward the end of that scenic drive.
Yes.
This, when we were at Natural Bridges, they had ADA accessible where you can walk out to vista points and viewpoints and stuff. This park does not lend itself to that as much. Then the Cave Springs. That is one of the coolest little hikes I've taken in any national park. Granted, I haven't hiked that many national parks, but it's only 6/10 of a mile round trip. Now, the information showed there were going to be 2 ladders you have to climb to make the entire loop. And so I told Eileen, it's going to depend. I'll get there and look at the ladders, see what they look like, how steep they are, that kind of thing. Well, when we stopped and I saw the loop, obviously a loop, you get to choose, do I go straight or do I go right or left? And so I saw if I go left, I can hit the 3 things to see before I get to ladders. And then I can go look at the ladder and decide what I want to do. And so
the first thing you see is a cowboy campsite, a replica.
No, I think it really is the cowboy. It's the ruins of the cowboy campsite thing. They did have some wood across there to keep people from just going up and.
They had little cooking utensils and looked like a little medicine cabinet.
And it's all up under these rock overhangs. And it was just so cool. And actually, one of the things before we even got there is they had some metal cans that were rusted. I think that's supposed to be trash, but it was from when people actually were camping there before it became a national park. But that cowboy camp was a really cool place, cool thing to see.
Yes, it was.
And what was so fun is that as we went on around, we got to walk up under the rocks some. And that was super cool. But then I went on around, and way up under this rock It's a very sandy trail, and it was very level. Let's start with saying that.
Yes.
Had we already done all of our running around, Mylena would have hiked all the way
Yes.
back to there. It was not a difficult hike at that point. This was all sand, and getting back to where the watering hole, there were some petroglyphs, and you can actually make those out.
Yes, and at some you get to an overlook and you can't
Tell what's
see
there.
anything.
But that was so cool, seeing these petroglyphs and standing there, and it's so much cooler under those overhangs, and so that was just, it was a neat walk. Even walking through all the brush and stuff was neat. But then I did go around to the first ladder, and by the time I got there, I knew that I wanted Mylena to hike part of this
Sure.
with me. It's not hot today, but when you're out in the sun, it's much warmer than it is when you're in the shade. But I know that's rocket science there, but it's true. And so, rather than opting to climb the first ladder and look at the second one, I just turned around and went back and got my
And I
list
appreciate it.
so that she could see this.
And I will say about the hikes, on each one of them, Sharon took, even though they were not long, Sharon took a fresh bottle of water. You don't want to get dehydrated in high elevations. It can,
Yeah, in the sun, and I did have a hat. That's
yes.
hat hair. But anyway, the other one that I went to, did I mention the Roadside Ruin? I don't think so. It was just 3/10 of a mile, and honestly, I did. Once again, at Natural Bridges, when you got out to the viewpoint, they showed you what you were supposed to look at. Well, here they put it up at the first before you start the trail.
Yes.
And so I got out there and I took a video of the only thing that I saw that might be the roadside ruin, and then I got back and found out, yes, that really was what I was supposed to be looking at. But it was really cool, and just once again getting out on the shortest hikes they have and being out in the national park, it's awesome.
And that is another thing. They've got some if you're into hiking, they have some very long
Extensive,
hikes.
grueling from what they
And
say.
they have some that even go into the back country and are
Yeah,
miles
they've got
and
some that are
miles.
11 miles long, take 5 to 7 hours, etc. And so, if that's something you're into, or four-wheel drive
Yes.
Jeeps and stuff like that, there were people at the visitor center in the parking lot airing up their tires because they've been out on those four-wheel drive
Yes.
roads. So anyway, we did not get out in the back country and do any
No,
canyoning or whatever you want to call it, but this is
it's
a beautiful
breathtakingly
place,
gorgeous.
and I am so thankful
I am too.
that we have come here and are getting a chance to explore this part of the country. And we hope you've enjoyed our look at Canyonlands National Park, the Needle section. And as always, thanks for watching.
Two Tired Teachers.